Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome into another redraft rankings video. Guys, we've already cleared wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks. Now it's for the big booties, the tight ends. Ooh, they're tight. And we're about to talk to them. Let's hit the intro.
Are you ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother.
Show me the money.
Guys, what a phenomenal intro that was. All right.
Yeah.
All right, number one, Travis Kelce. Thank God no one had George Kittle and overthought this at two. I mean, what do you need to – wait, do you have a George Kittle at one?
Uh-oh.
Come on.
Lucas is mad.
Whoa.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Lucas smash.
Lucas,
Travis Kelce.
Put it this way. Come on.
Travis Kelce, best receiver.
Why are you so divided on it? I have them like the same. Like,
Listen. We're gonna talk about this, right?
Because we do this every year. Like, he's
Lucas,
always a point.
Dude,
George
you
Kittle
tell
had
me all the
85
time.
catches in 14 games last year. You're
Lucas,
gonna say
tight end won like the last 3 seasons.
Lucas, you tell me
I
all
have
the
fucking
time,
Kelce
right?
too.
You're like,
Okay,
wait.
tight ends and running backs hurt each other. So what do? They draft a first-round running back. I'm actually going to play advocate for Hilaire today.
You said this about Danny. Don't use a fucking guy that you hate to support a take. Don't do that.
Who did I use
Travis
that for?
Kelce. Travis Kelce is the main weapon. He's the main.
Roethlisberger.
Wait,
Travis
who?
Kelce is the main red zone weapon.
I don't hate
He's
James
the-
Conner.
Yeah, you do.
It's tight ends. All right. He's
Tight
the,
ends, big old booties.
okay, he's the best possession guy on the team. Like, I love Tyreek Hill, but there's a reason Tyreek Hill doesn't get 10 targets a game. Like, it's
Fuck it,
plain and
man.
simple. Sammy Watkins, ain't it. He's talking about retiring. DeMarcus Robinson. Travis Kelce is going to get a 28% market share, I would imagine. In a good offense, lock him in at the 1. Here's the reason why we don't have Kittle at the 1. Last year, his best year, still a point per game less than Travis Kelce.
All right, I was just doing it to fuck with you, Lucas. He's actually my
Adding
one.
Brandon Ayuk, another playmaker to a team with Jalen Hurts coming back, doesn't make George Kittle better. Like, I'm not hating on George Kittle, but, like, he's not the tight end 1.
How was last year his best year when the year before he literally set the tight end receiving yard record?
And
He only had
points
like
per
4 touchdowns that year.
fantasy points per game.
Dude, Jimmy Beans, baby.
Yeah, that's my big thing between Kittle and Kelce is that the offense is it's good in San Francisco, but the Chiefs offense is elite. You're tied to an elite quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo is not elite.
Dude, I would take Jimmy Beans over Patrick Mahomes.
Kelsey's a more efficient red zone weapon, like you saw it. I mean, Patrick Mahomes wasn't trying to throw no-look passes. He probably would have had an extra touchdown, but Kelce, to me, he has double-digit touchdown upside, and that's really like the biggest thing for tight ends because they're the big-bodied guys on the team that you just want the touchdown upside, and he also just gets more receptions than Kittle does as well. So to me, I wouldn't overthink this. I think it's Kelce all day.
Now, the receptions are honestly close because in 14 games he did have 85. Kelce played all 16. He had 97, I believe. So, I mean, you extrapolate that to probably a few off.
They're even. It's that 6.5 each.
Yeah, so
Okay.
at the end of the day, I do think Kelce may end up with a few more catches, and ultimately, I agree. I have him at 1. That offense is the big decisive factor for me. Mahomes versus Garoppolo. I mean, we saw how that transpired in the Super Bowl, so let's not get into that. But either way, these are the clear 1 and 2, and both worth, in my opinion, top 24 picks. So, I mean, you can't.
Kelsey's actually due for some positive regression from the touchdown perspective. He only had 5 last year, and he's usually between 8 to 10. So, like I said, it's because Mahomes is trying to throw no-look passes to him. But either way, I don't think we need to spend too much time on these guys because everyone knows they're studs. So let's get into tight end 3. Obviously, Kittle we have at 2 because we had Kelce at 1.
Can I just say one thing about Kittle?
Yeah.
He finished with 5 and 14 games last year, and I believe 3 or 4 of them were callback on penalties.
Yeah, 2 of them were in the Bucs game.
Yep. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yeah. So Lucas hates children. He also hates Mark Andrews.
I don't hate him.
Who do you have at 3? Oh, you have
4.
I don't hate him, but like there is like this is like the one thing where there will be a regression, like absolutely a regression. Hayden Hurst left. Hayden Hurst played on like maybe 10 snaps a game. Yeah, like 12 snaps a game. Okay, give those to Mark Andrews, sure. So Mark Andrews dominated in the slot last year. 34% of his targets came from when he played in the slot. They go out and get Devin Duvernay, who they didn't draft him to play outside because he's a slot receiver. James Prochet, he'll probably put the slot in the NFL. He's kind of smaller. Boykin's still kind of emerging. So, like, I don't hate Andrews. I just think that the gap, it's for me, it's easily Kelce, Kittle, and there's a pretty solid gap down to Andrews. Whereas I think it's just a little bit closer to for everyone else, to Kittle and Kelce. And he saw 10 touchdowns, and he ran. He played the same amount of games as Kelce and Ertz. And Kelce and Ertz ran almost 300 routes less and had 4 more touchdowns than both of them. So
and the thing with Andrews is, like, people are going to use that argument about him a lot. It's the bottom line is his yards per route run. When he's on the field and when he's running routes, they have him targets. And the one thing I will say about Andrews, I have him at 3, so I definitely believe he's entered that that next tier after the top 2 guys. But people want to use the Ertz got a lot of targets because all the receivers got hurt in Philadelphia. Same goes for Darren Waller. Some people put that against them. But the reality is Marquise Brown was hurt a lot last year. Willie Snead struggled to stay healthy. Miles Boykin was a rookie. He didn't really know what he was doing yet. I think it's a little bit of a valid point to say that Mark Andrews was really the only target in the passing game that was consistent the whole year. If Hollywood Brown, I'm really high on Hollywood Brown. I think if he's able to assert himself in the offense, I'd be interesting to know the splits with Andrews and Marquise Brown. I might pull them up right now, but nonetheless, I think there's a chance that argument also applies to Andrews because people use it against Ertz and Waller a lot.
It's just the thing with Ertz is people are gonna. I think he's gonna be next up. We'll get into him a little bit more, but people are gonna break him down like, oh, he's not a great player. He's not elusive. Like he just gets a ton of volume, which is why he finishes up there. But at the same time, I have the lowest. But again, this tier 2 is all fucking same. I mean, pick your poison, take the best value. But with Ertz, he's basically a lock for 125 targets. I mean, if you've watched the Philadelphia Eagles play, they literally pass through their tight ends. Like, that's what their offense is built on. We see it every year. It's Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz relies on these tight ends so much. Even when they had receivers, Alshon Jeffrey, again, I've mentioned in the past, has been pissed at fucking Carson Wentz. Whereas when Nick Foles was in there, Alshon Jeffrey was getting the work. So at the end of the day, it's the tendencies of the quarterback, which is why these tight ends, we'll get into Goddard another episode too, get so much work.
And with
he actually got 1.5 targets more per game when Hollywood was out of the lineup, just for what it's worth.
And with the tendencies of tight ends, Lamar goes to Mark Andrews. I mean, Danny was making
small. It was kind of a fluky sample size though, with no other receivers there, which they really don't have any. Like they do,
unless they had AB, which I think is still going to happen. But
that'd be hilarious.
Point.
So I guess my thing is like I don't want to invest super high capital on a tight end that played 43% of the snaps because you could say that's going to go up, but that would have gone up during the season when he was literally destroying every single defense.
Okay, well, Hayden Hurst is gone now, so.
Well, he was the third. Hayden Hurst is the third string. Nick Boyle's the starter. He still will be the starter, like on the depth chart.
He doesn't block, dude. Like he's not gonna he's not in. Like you could say, like yes, like George Kittle, for example, probably plays like 85, 90, 100% of the snaps, but he's also blocking probably half.
83.
So. I think
it's just I think the gap is just
tight end, which is what I hope my team uses Howard as. But that's besides the point. I think the snap percent, I'm not really concerned about them, to be honest. I think as long as he maintains a high target share when he's on the field, I'm not really that concerned because they don't have him in to block, and it's probably for good reason. He's probably just not that good of a blocker.
Yeah, for sure.
So Lucas has Zach Ertz as 3. He also smokes crack, so we'll jump into that. Lucas, Zach Ertz is our consensus 4. What's going on there with Zach Ertz?
I mean, he finished as 2 last year, and I think in terms of adding the receivers back, they added a lot of speedy receivers, and to me, that doesn't hurt him as much as we think it does. I just don't see his role changing. Like, they're not paying him all that money for the role to change. I say that now, and I probably should have, I don't know, Darren Waller and Hayden Hurst are kind of similar, but like Waller's going to get his work. They didn't pay him to. This is kind of confusing though, but they didn't pay him to not get the ball. Like they didn't extend Ertz when they have Goddard to not give him the ball. Tight end 2 last year. The offense was depleted. I think the offense is going to be better. So I think he's there. He finished ahead of Mark Andrews last year, and Mark Andrews had 10 touchdowns. So like it just kind of. I can't move Andrews up on him yet.
Are like reliable, like every week start. Like Deshaun Jackson can't stay healthy. Marquise Goodwin can't stay healthy. Jalen Reagor will be in his rookie year. I know we all believe in Jalen Reagor here, but like
he's a rookie.
Struggles. JJ Arcega-Whiteside hasn't shown anyone shit. Alshon Jeffrey might not be ready for week 1 from the reports that I've heard from or that I've seen on Twitter from Philadelphia people. So, I mean, there's a good chance that it's just Ertz again next year. So,
yeah, and he's a huge value right now too.
Miles
He's like the
Sanders.
fourth, fifth round
great value, especially in redraft, because people want to hype up Goddard all they want. And yes, Goddard's probably more talented in some areas than Ertz is, but until Zach Ertz isn't on the team, I'm not taking Dallas Goddard in like the top 12 tight ends.
Oh yeah, no, Zach Ertz will be a very core value of this team and the reception work. But I don't know. I just kind of I would rather take that upside swing of Engram and Engram will get.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by upside though? Because Ertz had more points per game.
Well, I just think Goddard will actually take more and more. Like he's just consistently done throughout.
I don't know. I think Goddard might have been.
But they don't need to eat into Ertz's. Like they ran like 40% of their snaps from. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like the highest percentage in the league by a lot last year. So they have enough snaps for Goddard to be on the field in pretty much a role that Mark Andrews has, like in terms of like a snap share. So I don't think they're gonna just like slowly integrate Goddard into the offense more than Ertz. I think the way their offense is designed with their tight ends now is how it's probably going to be going forward, because I think it works for them. The problem for their offense, obviously, is that the receivers can't stay healthy. So, but either way, I think Ertz is probably locked in for the similar target share that he is last year. Maybe it's a little slow at the beginning of the year while the guys are healthy, but D-Jax is going to have his week 1 and then he won't be relevant. And then Marquise Goodwin will get his 17th concussion in week 2. So, I mean, and like I said, I don't think Jeffrey is healthy week 1 from the things that I've seen on.
He's going to be on the pup, so.
Yeah, people probably be on the pup, and even when he is on the field, he's not very good anymore anyway. So.
True.
So we go on to Evan Engram. Evan Ingram's a guy I very much believe in. Maybe I'm just like on the fucking moon right now.
I don't know how you can have him ahead of Waller personally.
Yeah, so I'm sitting at 4, and that's just genuinely. If he just plays the games, he's going to do it. I think I'm gonna. It's hard to say how many fucking games is he gonna miss, because he's like in 12 games he'll still be a tight end 1, in relatively high, sitting around the mid range. And I think if he just plays 16 games, he could genuinely challenge Mark Andrews for that 3 spot. Honestly, like he's so efficient.
Yeah, he would challenge Kittle. He would challenge Kelce if he played 16 games, but he's not.
He averaged 13.75 last year.
He's had 3 concussions in 3 years. He's not playing 16 games.
It sucks.
Like, I guess I'm like completely different. Like, I'm just kind of confused on your rankings because you have like Higbee at 16. So, like, what are you ranking Higbee on?
Lucas, I'm fucking crying right now. Can you like chill?
Either way,
I love Evan Ingram. He's not playing 16. He probably wouldn't play.
You have a point. Obviously, whatever games that Evan Ingram plays in, he's going to be successful. But I can see you. I can't see. I don't know how you can have him ahead of Darren Waller. Personally, I don't see that. I don't like Darren Waller. Like I said with Ertz, like Darren Waller's target share to me is not going down. I love Ruggs as much as anyone, and Edwards is a nice player, but Waller's like the main target in the offense from a passing perspective right now, at least. So for this year, I don't think there's a way that Darren Waller really sees much less target share than he did last year.
I just want to mention, I mean, we're talking about Evan Engram. Clearly, he's a guy you have to add an asterisk to. You have to say the points per game basis. I mean, me and Tyler are clearly the highest on him. It's just the reason why I'm so high on him, I have him, I believe, 5 here. Yeah, just after Darren Waller, is because when he is on his game, when he is playing, man, 16.56 PPR points per game last year. That would have ranked just behind George Kittle and Travis Kelce on a points per game basis for tight ends last year. Now you're mentioning, again, he exited out of the Arizona game. Those 3 games afterwards, he wasn't the same player, 8.87 PPR points per game. Recently mentioned him in the previous ADP Battles video. Me and Tyler did. When I look at it, Jason Garrett, when he was the main play caller for Dallas, I'll send Bush the graphic to put on the screen. But
yeah, I'm not doing that.
Jason Witten had between 2007 and 2012, when Jason Witten was actually in his prime and, not an old man rundown player, averaged 141, 121, 124, 128, 117, and 149 targets. And in those years, finished as the tight end 1, tight end 2, tight end 5, tight end 1, tight end 5, and tight end 3, with an average of 92 catches, 1,018 yards, and 5 touchdowns per year.
I understand the upside. I know he's
we're not arguing that.
We all know the upside.
He's going to be terrific if he's on the field. But I can't put him ahead of guys like Ertz, like Waller, who are on the field all the time, and are going to get more targets than Evan Engram.
I need to change mine too because I kind of dropped the ball on that one. Like, I mean, if your fantasy season is like weeks 1 through – actually, no, because he doesn't even play weeks 1 through 8 half the time. It's split up. So, like,
I would have him after those guys just because I think those guys are too proven to put an upside guy over him. It's like –
and I think it's – to me, it's like you could say draft him and then draft another one, but his ADP is not good. Like you think it's good in your head, but then you're like, it's like the 6th round. Like I can go take, like for example today, like I think someone got Tyler Boyd in like the 9th round.
Like you get Tyler Boyd more in there.
Yeah, like and I get Evan Ingram's 13 points per game last year, but like I mean another guy, Hunter Henry. If you want to draft one at a better ADP at 12 points per game last year, that's injury prone. Like there's just not a ton of value, it seems to me. Not his current ADP, but yeah. All right, Darren Waller up next. I need to raise him up. I'm just going to leave it for now.
Yeah, you had him at 7. I got to hear both yours and Tyler's rationale for that.
No, I'm moving him up. I think
okay, good, man.
His market share might see a little bit of a decrease because 24% seems like a lot with all the weapons they're going to try to use. So maybe like 21%, but still, I agree. I think when I made my case for Earth saying they paid him, they're going to use him. Same thing goes there. Yeah, I mean, it's not really much to say. I don't think he finishes with the amount of targets he did last year because I think Ruggs will get some design. Well, we hope Ruggs get his design touches. Bowden's going to get design touches. I would think Jacobs sees a better role. But that being said, Waller's still a beast.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think people are overthinking Waller a lot. I think there's nothing really like bad about his situation. Like his quarterback is still the same. They obviously have a great connection together. Yes, Ruggs is coming in, and yes, Edwards is coming in, and whoever else they added, Bowden and Jalen Richard's back and stuff. But honestly, the offense funnels through Josh Jacobs on the ground, Darren Waller in the short passing game, Hunter Renfrow in the short passing game. But honestly, I don't see a way that he is not in the same tier that he was last year. I'm a big proponent of not drafting tight ends early, like especially these guys, like these mid tier guys. But I mean, if Waller falls deep enough, I'm definitely going to be taking shots on him. And I think Engram, yes, has way more upside than Waller, but it's so much of a risk, and it's not like Ingram's like a 12th round pick that you don't have to spend a lot of risk on. They're virtually going in the same area of the draft, so I'd much rather have Waller in that case.
Mine's just my argument's really just clearly based off of all the added pieces, and Josh Jacobs is going to play a full season, so maybe, who knows? Evan Engram won't. Hurt my feelings another time, guys. Why not? Crying inside. We can move on because I really just think the argument for me is just based off of all the added guys, and if you think that Derek Carr will build a rapport and it'll be okay.
Yeah, I just think the hierarchy is going to remain the same. Yes, they added guys, but I think they eat into each other.
Yeah, I think people are screaming at us like Hunter Renfrow. Like, no, Henry Renfrow, that ain't it. Like, no, he's not taking Darren Waller. He's not going to start. Like, he started last year because their other receiver was.
He's going to start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if they want to win, they need to put in freaking Bowden at the slot.
It's going to be Ruggs, Williams, and Renfrow in 3 receiver sets.
Brian Edwards is a better player than Hunter Renfrow.
He was so good.
But he's not ready to start right away.
That's Hunter Renfrow is so gross. That made me so mad last year when he would come in there and not even vulture because they weren't even efficient touches. They were just terrible touches. Last but not least, Hunter Henry. I hate Hunter Henry.
We haven't even talked about
your tight end 6 yet.
What?
Oh, my thing just switched on me.
Yeah, that's how much Lucas hates Hunter Henry. He's willing to skip his favorite tight end in the class, Jack Doyle.
Yeah, because Hayden Hurst is a beast, man. Like vacated production to a to a tight end that's just as athletic as Austin Hooper.
Lucas, you said it wrong. Hayden Hurst isn't a beast. Matt Ryan in the passing offense of the Atlanta Falcons is a beast.
Hayden Hurst is a first-round pick.
Hayden Hurst is a more naturally talented player.
Hayden Hurst can eat my shit.
I actually heard someone say that he's not as talented as Austin Hooper, as if people thought Austin Hooper was talented before this year.
I know.
It's probably Bobby Sylvester who said that.
Bobby Sylvester's a king. Hashtag pizza gang.
Hayden Hurst is probably one of Howard, I think, is the most talented that tight end that Cutter has had, but Hurst is probably second most talented. So I don't think there's any way that Hayden Hurst is not a top 8 tight end if he plays the full 16 games because the offense is going to pass, and pass some more.
Dude, OJ Howard, greatest tight end of all time. Here's my thing. So I got Hunter Henry and Hayden Hurst literally neck and neck right now, and I feel like I don't know. it sucks. Like, new to the system. Matt Ryan was familiar with Austin Hooper. That's my only thing. And it's like, yeah, Hunter Henry, the same fucking thing.
I was gonna say we'll get into
Gesicki's new to the system.
It hurts. All right,
well, okay, like,
it doesn't make a difference.
Well, but like, so in terms of vacated production, like vacated production gets filled. Like Julio might see 10 more targets, but in reality, he's not going to see more than
Ridley's primarily going to benefit off of Sanu's targets, not Hooper's targets.
And then Russell Gage, like, I think he's a good fantasy play. He's a good slot receiver, but he's going to see 5 targets a game. Like, and they literally stated they don't know how healthy Todd Gurley is. So like Hayden Hurst, you have to insert him. The man can pass block. The man can run block, the man can run routes, the man can guard the catch. Like John Harbaugh does not miss on draft picks. Like he doesn't. He picked him in the first round. Like what else more do you need to know?
I mean, he also picked him over Lamar Jackson. So
yeah, but he still got Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. So that narrative's stupid. So it doesn't matter.
But why is it okay? We don't have to get into this on camera.
I don't know. Mark Andrews is necessarily a better because he didn't miss on the pick.
Don't say he's not a better talent. Don't say Mark Andrews isn't a better talent.
As a receiver,
as a receiver, but an overall tight end, there's a reason Mark Andrews isn't the starter last year.
Anyways, we all love tight ends on this channel. Tight ends, phenomenal. So we'll jump on to our last guy, Hunter Henry. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to say it right now. Hayden Hurst is my 8 now. Hunter Henry is my 9. And I don't want to get yelled at in the comments. And if you want to yell at me in the comments, fucking do so. I want to see you there, you sexy man.
Deli Meats is waiting for you.
Hunter Henry's the mini Evan Engram. He never plays a full season. Everyone's like, if he plays a full season, never does. So just don't draft him either.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't draft Hunter Henry with a 10-foot pole. I have him at 8 because he's a great red zone weapon. I think Tyrod knows like how to use his tight ends. Like he's just the type of quarterback that's going to utilize Hunter Henry well. But I don't want to draft Hunter Henry. I don't think he has a lot of upside. Like whether or not I think the quarterback change is going to go smoothly or not, it's still a risk. And I think Austin Eckler completely caps Hunter Henry's upside because I think the running back targets and tight end targets do correlate. And Eckler is going to get probably the second most targets of any running back in the league. So yes, he's at 8, but that's probably because he's going to score like 6 or 7 touchdowns, maybe 8, 9 touchdowns if he's lucky. The only thing that is going for Hunter Henry really is the fact that he was really good last year when he came back, and once he came back, he actually stayed back. He was able to kind of be healthy for a bit, but yeah, I mean, he's basically the same thing as Evan Engram. Everyone wants to make excuses for his injuries, but he's so risky, and he's not enough of at a discount that I would actually pick him. So
the main thing I have is we're going to talk about him next episode, but aside from the unproven factor, what does Hunter Henry have that Tyler Higbee doesn't?
That Mike the second.
Oh, you're asking him. Literally say Evan Engram. I was going to say fantasy finish.
Well, he's the best tight end on his team.
So you're saying Gerald Everett's getting it? Gonna be better than Tyler?
No, I'm more so fucking with you a little bit, but
I mean, no, it's not.
I have Higbee at 10 and Henry at 8, so I don't see much of a difference to be honest.
Do you guys actually think Higbee's so much better than Everett?
Nope.
Because
Everett about the same.
Everett did the same exact thing, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, they're about the same
exact. I actually had the stats. I'll pull them up like.
Okay, we're not talking about Higbee right now.
That's
we'll get into it next episode. I'll pull it up for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. Anyone have any on Hunter Henry? Or we all just kind of don't want him, but he's kind of ranked here because he's going to finish here, kind of thing.
Yeah, he's pretty all right, I guess. But don't draft him. Take Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, wait 4 rounds and get Jonnu Smith, Hayden Hurst, Mike Gesicki, like Noah Fant. Like, just don't take Hunter Henry.
Blake Jarwin.
Bottom line. Yeah. Don't pick
more like
guys.
All right. Jarwin.
If you're a fan of Jack Doyle, don't tease yourself too hard. That's next video. Guys, we're very excited to get the next set of tight ends out. The last set, because we're not going to go too deep, because who wants to know about other guys in the tight end? Ew, gross. If you haven't checked out running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, go do it. Guys, if you are interested in sunglasses, even if you got to this point, down in the description below, Shady Rays, my promo code, my promo link, 10 meals to Fighting Hunger. I definitely botched that. Well, that's fine. Whatever. Guys, go get yourself some sunglasses.